Well, it's no secret that every day we hear about people leaving California, leaving other states, and flocking to Texas, specifically flocking to DFW. Maybe everything's bigger and better in Texas, at least I think it is, but the question is why? Why are so many people choosing to leave the beautiful beaches and the wonderful weather and the coast of California, or really any part of California, and coming inland to the great state of Texas? Today, let's talk about why people choose Texas over California when it comes for places to live. Here we go. Number one, and let's start with some fun ones, just lighten the mood a little bit. Maybe one of the reasons people are flocking from California to Texas is they really, really love Southern food. They just got hooked on that Southern food. They experienced Tex-Mex for the first time. They want to come to the home of where margaritas were invented, and maybe that's just them. Maybe number one reason they want to come to Texas is for the food, the hospitality, and the people. Number two, and I'm just going to cause a fight right now. They prefer WhatABurger over In-N-Out. When I moved to Phoenix a few years ago, and I really wanted a WhatABurger, and all they really had on the West Coast was In-N-Out, and people were like, WhatABurger is trash, and I'm like, you're wrong. So maybe they've found the error of their ways. They've seen the greatness that is WhatABurger, and they prefer WhatABurger to In-N-Out. So maybe that's the second one, kind of goes in with the first one. Number three, reason why people might be flocking from California to Texas is, honestly, we have a great sports and entertainment scene. Concerts, events, venues, art exhibits, all the major sports teams are here. At the time of recording of this video, we have a Dallas Cowboys team that's fighting for first place, Mavs team that's on a winning streak. The Stars are first in the Western Conference. The Rangers just signed, Jacob deGrom and are building a world-class pitching staff, and they're gonna win a World Series. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And they like sports, and really, like, Dallas is a hub. DFW is a hub of a lot of those different things, and for some people, maybe that's a thing that's attracting them to Texas. Maybe they are tired of the population density and living just right on top of one another. They want the wide open spaces of Texas. They want land or acreage, or even if they don't want land or acreage, they just want a little bit less of a population density. And I think about the SpongeBob episode where Sandy the squirrel, she's sad, and she's singing about Texas, and she's singing about the wide open spaces, and we're just gonna, we'll cue the song.
I wanna wake up in Texas. I miss those wide open skies.
Wide open spaces is what they're wanting, and they just want to be close to people without being right on top of people. So maybe that's why Californians are leaving California and coming to Texas. Okay, we've hit a couple funny ones. Let's do some legitimate, serious ones, and then we're going to kind of jump in and talk some details. So one of the things maybe that's drawing people from California to Texas is geographic location. Sure, of course, you have the West Coast and you have beautiful Pacific Ocean and beaches and things like that, but Texas is going to be centrally located. So put you in a central time zone. If you travel for work and you're going coast to coast, or you're going really anywhere in the nation, so maybe that's something that's drawing people here, is makes it easier for work and travel, and going coast to coast if you have to. So that could be a thing. Maybe you're coming here because traffic, although our traffic is bad, our traffic is definitely not as bad as LA, Southern California traffic. So quick story, my wife and I, our first wedding anniversary, we decided we were gonna spend a long weekend in California. We were gonna do Universal and we were gonna do Disney. It was gonna be a great weekend. So we flew into LAX, drove from LAX to Universal, spent the day at Universal, and we were staying back down by Disneyland. And I'll never forget leaving Universal at 4:30 or whatever, putting it in the maps to drive to our hotel, which I think was 30 miles, maybe 37, I think is what it is, gate to gate from those parks. And maps telling me it was going to take 2.5 hours. And I was like, oh no, there's no way. Sure enough, it took every bit of 2.5 hours and then some to go something like 30 miles. And I was miserable, she was miserable, I hated it. And I understand why you would leave that. Our traffic in DFW is bad, but is not that bad. We also are a little bit more gracious when it comes to speed limits, and thinking those are just more like suggestions and things like that. So just maybe that's why people are coming to Texas, is because you want out of the terrible traffic. Because if I sat in traffic like that every single day of my life going to and from work, I would be miserable. I don't care how beautiful the beach is and how nice the weather is. It would be miserable. When it comes to Texas and our politics, it's no surprise that Texas leans more conservative politically than California does. Sure, there are pockets of liberal politics within Texas, some right within the major cities, within those cities, but as far as like the suburbs and things like that go, and Texas as a whole still tends to lean conservative. So maybe the reason somebody's leaving California for Texas is they say, hey, you know what? Just our politics don't line up. We think differently. And there's nothing wrong with either one of those. Let's be clear. I think both sides are right and wrong about certain things, but whatever. Texas has a really strong job market. Specifically DFW, the job market is growing even in the midst of what looks like a recession coming on. Everything you read here in DFW talks about how the job market is continuing to grow. It's strong. There are great opportunities here. Tons of large companies headquarter themselves here in DFW. Think, American Airlines, Southwest. We'll talk about Southwest. AT&T, PGA, Toyota. Tons of opportunity, both in the blue collar and white collar space, if you're looking for a job to find opportunity here in Texas and specifically DFW. Taxes. Let's talk about taxes because we all, the only thing certain in life are death and taxes, and we're going to pay them. But if we can pay less, that would always be a benefit. So California state income tax. So California, let's start off. Let's say we have yes to state income tax. So state, did a little bit of research. State income tax is anywhere between 1% to 12.3%, with most people probably falling in the 8 to 10 range. So 8 to 10% of your taxes paid to the state of California on top of your federal tax bracket of where you fall, given how much you make and things like that. So, let's say state income tax at 8 to 10%. If you're on the high end, 12 to 15 or more. So Texas state income tax. You ready for this? Everybody knows it. Texas is 0. We don't pay any state income taxes whatsoever. So when it comes to your paycheck, federal taxes are what's paid, Social Security, Medicare, things like that, just like you would anywhere else. But as far as state income taxes, we pay 0. So that talks about when we make money, but what about when we spend money, right? So like sales tax and things like that. Let's go back to California. California, sales tax, let's see, sales 7.25, and I found even places up to 10% in sales tax when you spend your money. Let's do Texas. Texas, sales tax, our state sales tax is 6.25%. with most places for cities and then additional things ranging about at the 8.25% range. So 7 to 10 or 6 to 8 when it comes to sales tax on purchasing and things like that. I know in California, I think there's also some additional taxes based on vehicles and registrations and things like that. Let's talk about businesses. Let's say you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a business or you want to bring a business with you from California to Texas and you're looking to build business. In California, you have a corporate tax, C-O-R-P tax. Corporate tax in California on your business, I think is 8%. Texas, for starting a business, no corporate tax. 0 corporate tax. Texas is actually only one of 6 states that does not have a corporate income tax. So it's business friendly if you're thinking about starting a business. However, I will tell you, we do have what's called a franchise tax. So no corporate tax, no 8% corporate taxes. Franchise tax is usually on, and again, I'm not a tax expert, not a CPA, just what I know about being a small business owner. And having conversations with my CPA. Corporate tax is greater than $1 million in revenue and is less than 1%. I think it's like 0.73 depending on what type of business you run. So corporate tax of 8% versus in Texas a no corporate tax, again, one of only 6 states that does that, and a franchise tax of around 1% based on revenue you generate. Again, if you're going to start a business here, just talk to a CPA. They're the professionals. I'm not on that realm. Speaking of keeping more of your money, oftentimes people will argue, well, Texas has state property taxes that are really high. California doesn't. Yes, we have state property taxes that we pay. Our state property tax here in DFW averages between 1.8 and 3% in the highest places. There are some cities. So 1.8 to 3%, most of them, so like mine, for example, I think our tax rate is 2.467% or something like that. So whereas California, I think is 0.77% or something like, so less than 1%. So yes, of course, if you want to just look at a straight percentage line, California wins on state property taxes because we pay a little bit more in property taxes because we don't pay income tax, corporate taxes, things like that. But here's the but. Property taxes are only paid on property that you own. So if we talk about owning property in California versus owning property in Texas, here's what I would say. Before I shot this video, I got online looking through the MLS. I haven't, looking at DFW, looking at California. Here's what I can say about California. Specifically, I was looking in and around LA. So for context, that's where I was looking in and around LA, looking for homes under 450. You know what I found? Do you know how many active listings I found for homes under 450? 47. 47 is the total number of homes that I found under 450 in California. Most of those homes under 450 were 3 bed, 2 bath, 3 bed, actually 1 bath. That was really surprising. Less than 1,000 square feet. So 445, I literally looked at one. It was a 3 bed, 1 bath, 961 square feet listed for 445. So sure, you could pay 0.77% property taxes on that and come out ahead. However, median household, like I looked this morning, DFW, you can still get a really great house for about 450. So 450 in a lot of places here in DFW gets you into a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 4 bedroom, 2 bath, north of 1,500 square feet. Depending on where you look in DFW, but our average home prices are still in that like 350 to 500 range. Of course, you can find things on the top end, on the way top end, you can find things below that versus, so that's average versus average home price in California is north of what, 700, 750 to get anything decent. So yeah, sure, lower property taxes, I guess, but how do those percentages play out against, 1.9% of 450 versus 0.77% of, 700 or 800 plus the income taxes plus the corporate taxes. So again, just trying to make a comparison one way or the other because, at the end of the day, the hope is to not pay as much in taxes, to keep more of your money, and our taxes are not as taxing. The cost of living is a little bit cheaper, not a little bit, a lot. For example, this morning I had to go get gas. I paid $2.89 a gallon for gas. I drive a big truck, $2.89 a gallon, cost me about $59, $60 to fill up my truck, which is great. I texted a friend in California this morning and said, hey, what did you get gas for? He goes, oh, how convenient. I got gas for $4.58. I'm not a mathematician, but that's more. So, right? So gas is going to be cheaper here. Groceries are going to be a little bit cheaper here. Cost of living is going to be cheaper, which means like not that you want to make less money, but you can make less money here and still have a similar quality or standard of living that you would have in California. So all that to be said, there's a lot of different reasons why people are moving from California to Texas. My name is Zach. I work as a realtor here in DFW, help families buy, sell, build new construction. That's really my favorite, is helping build new construction. All of that, help in the real estate market any way I can. So if you're thinking about relocating from California or really anywhere into the DFW marketplace, I'd love to be a guide for you, I'd love to be a resource, advocate for you, do whatever I can for you and your family to help get you here into Texas and make Texas home for you. I'm so excited that you're thinking about joining us here. So if I can help in any way, contact information is going to be right here. There's a link to my calendar down below, email down below as well. However you want to reach out, please do that. Happy to help you any way I can. Guys, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.